Welcome to Make It Happen Dallas. We have another guest, and you might think, oh, did you bring Barbara back? But no, this is Maria.
I'm her clone.
That's actually Barbara's clone. We cloned her real quick in the closet, and now we have her.
And she will tell me, like, you're my clone when we were little because
No
I'm
way.
like, she's the older and I'm the youngest. So it was like, I was there first. So they clone you. And I was like, no, I'm so different. But I mean,
You guys are
it's kinda
so
cute.
different,
Yes.
to be fair. But that's so funny. I didn't even know that story, that she would like tease you, that you were her clone.
Yeah, and then also because she ate my food when we were in my mother's womb.
Oh my
right?
God.
So like I was a lot smaller than her, like physically. Like my mom will always say that I was like the size of her palm. And Barbara was like a lot bigger.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And that's because she ate my food.
How dare she?
Right. Now she's sweet, but she wasn't sweet back then.
Not when she was a fetus.
Yes, exactly.
Maria is Barbara's twin, and like I said on Barbara's episode, I have her here not only because she's my best friend, because why not, right?
Right.
There's obviously a preference there, but also because she's a very accomplished woman.
I try to think myself as that.
And, you know, I want to talk to you today about, well, a lot of things, but, you know, let's start with how we met, which was in college, right?
Love it.
And I remember, you want to know my first impression of you?
Yes.
I know we love doing this.
Yes.
Maria and I, we love making situations or acting out situations. Like
Yes.
if we went to a party and then came back and told a story, we weren't gonna just tell it.
Right.
We were gonna act it out, and we were like, "You're this person, I'm this person."
Exactly. It's not the same if you don't get the feel like you were there, right? It's not the same just telling the story. If you don't understand where the person was standing right in that moment.
Where was the hand placed?
Exactly. It's different if the hand was here or if the hand was here.
There is a difference.
Difference in the story completely.
Yes, so that's why we act all of our stories
Yes.
since we were in college. But back to my first impression, I remember thinking, I was like, wow, Maria works so hard. Because you did. Like, you had insane hours.
Yes.
Back in college, not even at TCU, but like in college in
Agreed.
general. And I just remember being like, she's like a hard worker. Like, I was like, she must be like very perfectionist in what she does, and she likes to do things well. That was my first impression of you.
Back then, like I've always been like hardworking, and of course, like the amount of time or the amount of things that you do depend on the amount of responsibilities that you have in the moment. So back when we met, we were in college, right? So not only I had to work, I also had to study. I also had to be looking for scholarships. I was living in a home with family. Whenever you want to put all those things in like a day, it's pretty packed.
Yep.
Right? So there was no way I could give up any of those things. I had to do them all. Right? So it was hard. And I think that's kind of why I think you said resilient.
Yes.
Yes. And it's because I'm determined. I was determined that I was going to do all these things and that I was going to be successful at it. So resilience and determination, they go hand in hand. If you want to do something and you want to achieve your goals, you have to work to get them, but you can't give up if you have setbacks. So I think like since then, I've learned how sometimes setbacks can turn in your favor. in ways sometimes, or things happen that you do not understand. So I feel at some level I have always been like this. But back then, in that exact moment that we met, that was like where I was tested for that. So now I just feel everything else is child's play.
Yeah.
Yes, because like I was sleeping just like 5 hours a night to be able to like do all those things.
Yes. And I think a lot of people could relate so much to you because I feel like I don't want to bring the immigrant card.
Yeah, but it's the immigrant card.
But it's the immigrant card all the way because if you think about it, it's not like we didn't want to. We could not disappoint the people that gave us the opportunity, which in your case is your parents, in my case, in my grandparents. And it's like you get this big opportunity to not only study, but to study abroad in a place where you're going to have so many opportunities that even thinking of giving that up makes you want to work even harder, right?
Agreed.
So I think it was also like necessity, right?
Yeah.
Because you are determined and you are resilient, but also is that thing of I cannot take this for granted.
Yes.
That it's like you don't feel it in the moment, but you know it's there. Like I cannot just like not work.
Totally.
I cannot not get my scholarship. So I need to keep my grades up, but I also want to keep some money. But I'm also need to be, respectful and organized at the home that they open the doors for me.
And I also want to have friends. I want to like have a balanced life. Like I want to get a beer like like on a Friday night. So agreed. And yes, it's the immigrant card. And then if you thought about it, when we were here doing all these things, at least there was light at the end of the tunnel. There are some people, if we think back home, how is the education system right now, and how people go to the university and they know they will graduate, they will put their best effort, and then they're not gonna professionally grow because of the situation.
Right.
So we knew that our pain was there. We were working hard, but we were happy. But there was a light at the end of the tunnel that we were gonna be able to make it.
Right.
We were gonna be able to grow. We were gonna be able to get over it. So I think it's not as hard whenever there isn't that light at the end of the tunnel. So we had that. So it makes us push harder.
Yes, and we were very lucky too.
Yes.
And we were lucky to find each other too.
Yes.
Because I feel like that made a lot of difference because separately we were all going through similar situations.
Agreed.
Like living in a place with family members that are not necessarily like our our daily life back home, right? So we were like so used to some like, okay, I live with my parents, or in my case I live with my grandparents, but then you'd switch to another situation that's really hard to adjust, as well as the workload that comes with working and studying and getting good grades and also having a social life.
Exactly.
So I think the fact that we found each other and we confided in each other, at least for me, was so meaningful.
To me as well, because like your friends are the family that you pick like where you go.
Yes.
So having a support system of like people that you can trust whenever things are wrong, that you can just call in. Like one example, back in Fort Worth, when our battery ran out and we were like, Oriana, help, right? And the three of us, like, well, Barbara and you especially, you guys were changing the battery while I was there giving you moral support and helping a little bit with some comments.
And but with refreshments.
Yes. So just having someone like, hey, my battery died. Can you just like help us? Like having someone to be there that it's with you when you're like celebrating things and when you're failing at some, like in your bad and good moments. So those are the friends that help you get through it. And then right now, like back then when we were having like difficult times, it's like, hey, we have each other, we'll get through it. And now we're like celebrating those moments, and our friendships are harder or like stronger. Sorry,
No, yeah,
stronger because we were we were there in our bad moments. We helped each other, so our friendship is just stronger because of that.
Yeah.
It's not like we just go out to brunch and like drink mimosas. Like that's not our type of friendship. Ours is a little deeper than that.
Yeah. And I have felt that I have not been able to find that meaningful friendships as I've grown older. I don't know if you like felt the same, but I feel like this is just like a very specific friendship that as you grow older, because you get more specific with the people that you know want to spend your time with. But I never like felt another such a tight connection with with girls specifically, like friendships that are girls, as I do feel with you guys, which is weird.
It is weird.
You're
I'm
weird.
Kidding. I'm kidding. It's not weird.
Yeah.
Like I've seen this TikTok trend that people say, why is it so hard to make friends in your mid-20s and 30s? Specifically about like female friends. And it's because when you're there, you're very specific about like what you want. Also, females tend to be a little competitive. So you compete about like looks. So you have to think about how you're like, what are you gonna wear to certain things, and like people get competitive. So like if the other girl looks better than you, then people get like, I don't like her, right? So girls tend to have this attitude, and we have to get over it, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, I just want to be your genuine friend, right? Like, and that's the way which we should approach it. But society sometimes makes it a competition. So we have to stop that to be able to connect with people. And it's normal that conversations are not as smooth, or there aren't things in common, right?
Yeah.
So if like there's this girl that likes to go out, or there's this other girl that just likes to wake up early and like work out, probably they're not gonna have a lot of things in common. So it's normal to have the social factor and also the no chemistry, which is totally normal.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes we like give ourselves a hard time because like, oh, like I you want to make that friendship happen so much.
Yes.
And I think now, obviously I don't know about back then, but
Yes.
because back then I remember us being very social butterflies. Like we would just like try to be friends with everyone. But now it's like, why would I force that friendship?
Yeah, we protect our peace a little bit more. That's why I think it's harder when you get older, and that's why this trend talks about when you're like 25 or like 30 and up, because that's when you really get to know you and you really get to know what you want and what you like.
That's so important.
Yes.
It's so important because I feel like at your early 20s, you don't look at boundaries.
No.
Like, you know, like you meet someone and you know that there's something about them that you don't like, but you still are friends with them. You're like, I mean, it's okay. I mean, they're my friends. And have you been at peace with letting go of friendships that used to mean a lot to you, but you realize, oh my God, I outgrown them?
Yes. You feel bad at the beginning and like even like blame yourself. Like, is it that I can't keep friendships? Is there something wrong with me? And I feel that's something that happened to me. But it's not really us. We change, everyone changes. And then you notice, hey, it was good back then, but now we're in like a different page in life. Maybe we'll sync later, who knows? But right now it's not the time to like keep being friends.
Yeah. And I think it's hard also because like sometimes when you've been friends for a long time, it's like, how do I not be your friend, right? You feel like you have to, but if sometimes your goals don't align in the long term, why, like the reason why we're still friends, why we're like us four, you and Barbara and Valeria are friends, is because even though we have different goals, we're goal oriented people.
Yeah.
So even though like we're not the same, like we don't have the same specific interest in work, right?
Yeah.
Or our values and what we want in life and to be better, we keep that the same. So it's not like not having the same things that you like in common. Like I like red, you like blue.
Yeah, no, agreed. Is having like similar goals in a general way, right? So, like for instance, we keep each other accountable, right? So like I remember like 2 weeks ago we were talking about deeply listening to people.
Yes.
Right. So we were saying like, hey, have you guys noticed that people usually when you tell them a story, they go straight and jump into their own story and they don't listen? Don't do that, right?
I hate that.
Yes. So it's like just it's a little bit of a change of topic, but I wanted to bring it up because if you can have these conversations with your friends, they're not like, maybe they're like party friends or like acquaintance. It's not like they're your friends, right? Because it depends on the quality of the conversation, right? If you go and you meet a group of girls or you meet some girls and they like start talking badly about others or like gossiping, you're gonna be like, that's a big red flag. Like, I don't want to hang out with these people, right? But if they go and like they talk about like meaningful topics that also like help you grow or like, I don't know, acknowledge things that you could do better, this is like a quality friendship, right?
Wow. There's so much that you said that is so important. I can't even like pick what to comment about because everything is so perfect.
Pick it.
But I will. We've been talking about how we don't want to give average responses.
Yes.
This is another topic that we talk about, but I think the fact that you said the listening thing and how, because we're so honest with each other, which green flag, if your friends telling you the truth, flag. Maria is the most honest person. You're the most honest person that I've ever met in the way that it doesn't matter if I hurt your feelings because I want you to be better and I want you to know these things, because if I don't tell you,
yes,
who will? And and because we're so honest that we got to that topic of deeply listening and how sometimes you tell a story.
Yeah.
And it's like, I went to the beach last week.
Oh, I went also last week. I had so much fun.
And now the correct way is being like, oh, you went to the beach. How was it? I also went to the beach after they have told their story.
Exactly. You first have to listen and ask questions, get their full story, and then you can say your story. You can also empathize.
Yes.
Telling your own story, but first listen.
Or even ask questions.
Exactly.
Like I feel like the whole reason they're telling you something is because they're confiding in you. They think that you will find it interesting.
Exactly.
And they're like cool enough to share that in like the story with you.
Yes.
So the least you can do, is just comment something. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be like, so, what was the beach? Like literally as simple as a question.
Yeah, exactly. How was it? Was it clean?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
was it clean?
Yeah.
Was the beach clean?
Exactly.
Did you wear a swimsuit? Like,
was there a jellyfish? I don't know. But if you dramatize an experience, people will understand it better. If you need to know if there was a jellyfish at the beach to understand that person, ask the question.
Ask the question for sure. So, first of all, that, and I think it was funny because we were all like feeling the same.
Yes.
We were like, oh my God, yes, that has happened to me. Oh my God. So I think it's really funny because we usually I think I've made that mistake too. Let's just say that.
We all have.
Yeah.
So
we all have. We're not saying this because we're preaching like we're perfect.
No. What I'm saying is that like, because I have done it, I was like, and then someone did it to me. I was like, hey,
I don't like this.
Like, let's not do it. But of course, I know I do it all the time. And it's not because people are bad that they're just doing it. It's not because they're so excited about their own experience that they want to tell you right away before they forget. Right. So, I feel that's the reason. But then we were like, hey, let's do a retro on this, right? Like, how about we listen and then we tell our story, right? So that's kind of like of the reasoning behind it, because I feel we all do that. So that's why you have to bring up these topics with your friends so you can retro on it.
Yes. I feel like because of all these things, all the like green flags, I guess, that you
Yes.
see, and the red flags, you've like completely, you're like, no, you know, if I don't have a connection with you, I'm not going to force it.
Exactly.
If you are tearing people down, I'm not
No
going to
way.
be your friend. Is there another red flag that you're like, nope, sorry, I'm not going to be your friend?
I feel the most important part is that someone has good intentions, right? Like, if I feel you have bad intentions, maybe not immediately like towards me, but if you have bad intentions towards other people, then I mean, for me, it's a red flag, because I know you're not a good person. You won't have my best interest at heart. So maybe not for other people, but for me, it's a red flag. I can be your acquaintance.
Sure.
We can be party friends, but maybe I'm not gonna be someone I confide in. Like, I'm not gonna confide in you, or like I'm not gonna be like super close, or we'll go one-on-one dates with you, right?
Right. And I think we should normalize having different friends for different things.
Yes.
There's friends that you would have coffee but wouldn't party with them.
Yes, exactly.
I think I would do all of the things with you.
Yeah,
but
same.
but there
What we do it?
we're multi-purpose. Exactly. But I feel like because you've learned to ignore, not ignore, recognize the red flags, and and if you see the green flags, bring those people into your life. You have built a really great support system around you, and I feel like that's affected your life in general. Can you tell me how has like having good relationships helped you with your professional life, for example?
Yes. And now that we're bringing the support system, I want to talk a little bit about like the importance of my parents' support. And also this goes back to the resilience and determination topic, which is that every time we were having a bad day, we could just call my parents, right? And they will just like give us a pep talk and like tell us, hey, everything's fine. Like, focus on this, or, you know, just give you like the typical dad pep talk. So, and still, we call them for anything. So I think my parents are like really important in supporting us, like be our best version of ourselves and like not giving up. And also friends like you guys that push us to do things that maybe we weren't as comfortable doing. Because if all your life you were told you're not good enough, or your parents made you feel like you couldn't dream of doing things, maybe you will believe it. So I feel my support system was very upbringing. They always believe in me. So that's kind of why I also believed in me and was able to accomplish what I set my mind to. And also, I know not everyone is religious, but I also have a lot of faith. When I pray, like, I ask for things and I get them. So, but of course, that's also tied to believing that you can do things. Because if you believe that you can make it happen, and you get a little push from God, I don't know, then it's like perfect.
I think it's important that your parents not only allowed you to believe that you could do anything, but then you yourself started believing it. Like, even if they like stopped saying it, you knew that was true, and you had, like you said, that faith to put it into actions, because you also worked really hard.
Yeah, agreed. Exactly. So it's like you can't pretend that you're gonna pray for something, for instance, and you're gonna do nothing about it, and it's gonna like turn true, right? Like, that's not how it works. you have to put your part, and then and I don't want to turn this into religious, but like God will give you that little push, right, to the end, to the goal.
I think it's a little bit of both,
Yeah.
right? Because like it can be all hard work, right? Even if you believe in, if you have a certain religion, if you're
Yeah.
more spiritual,
Yeah.
even if you just believe in energies and in
Exactly.
yourself, I think
Yeah, yeah.
you need to believe in something, right? Because it can't all be hard work and nonstop and not leaving your life,
Yeah.
right? It has to be together. It has to be a combination,
Balance.
balance.
Yeah. Totally.
How are you with work-life balance? I know, well, for those who don't know, Maria has an amazing job at Salesforce because of that hard work and believing in yourself, and your parents pushing you to be better, as well as your support system. So how do you balance, not working to live? No, at the other way around. Not living to work, but working to live. How do you balance that?
So I feel right now I'm very good at it, but at the beginning, like let's say my first year, I was not that good at it, and it's not because I had so much work or anything like it. I was just so used to like the university that like I was every day, all day, like hustling. If it was not studying, it was like doing something else. Like I didn't even have like the weekends for myself. So I was so used to like be doing something. So when I started to work, like I was on entry level. It's not like I was like solving the equation for, I don't know, the distance of, no. Like I was doing good things, important things, but like not so complex.
Yeah.
But still, I was finding myself like staying late, like just creating work for myself because I was not used to be able to have that time for me.
Right.
But then as time passed, and I noticed that I was able to like do all my work before like 5 or 6. And not only that, but I noticed that people don't really care if you stay and do something else.
Right.
Right? Like the only person you're hurting is yourself by not giving yourself time to rest, or your brain time to rest. You need to rest, and that's part of it. That's part of balance, having a balanced life. So, and I even have a story that I was staying up late creating tasks for myself. And then those were good tasks, by the way. Like it was amazing work.
Of course they were.
And then the credit was given to somebody else.
No way.
And not only it happened once, it happened many times. So I was like, I'm staying here late doing something for like, I don't know, going above and beyond, and like it's not even appreciated. So that's when I said, I'm gonna do my work, I'm gonna be great at it, I'm gonna freaking kill it. I don't know if
you do.
I don't know if we'll have to cut this, but yes.
No. I think you should.
Okay, yes. Okay. And then but I'm gonna like just work my 8 hours a day. I'm not gonna work more than that. After that, it's gonna be me time.
It's just really important because for all the hard workers out there,
Yeah.
Working is assigned as your value, right? And you're like, oh, if I'm not working, then what am I going to do? And it's like, you can just live.
And I want to mention that when I started like having good work-life balance and not like overexceeding myself, that's when I got promoted. That's when I was appreciated the most. So my point is, those extra hours are doing no one a favor. You're better with your creative juices flowing in the mornings or in the afternoons, the time you decide to like rest. And you will be better at your work if you have that time for yourself.
What would be your advice, just to wrap things up, for anyone who, it's a perfectionist, is a overworker, and they need to take some self-care? What would be the self-care that you would recommend for them?
Well, not to be biased, but I will say first a massage, very deep. Ask for deep pressure in the back. um, Also, try to do like a detox. I know maybe it doesn't sound too self-carey right now, but doing a detox, maybe like a juice cleanse, it's so good because you'll feel so good whenever you get rid of all those toxins that are in your body. So I will totally recommend doing that. And then just like grabbing a good book that's non-technical, that's just a relaxed book, and read it. And don't take life too seriously. And I know it's kind of like ironic coming from me, but like if you have seen and you've learned in this podcast, I have changed a lot in a good way. I'm not so hard on myself, and that's important. I feel happier right now.
And I can attest that I have seen the change. And I think it's not that you work any less. I think you work hard for
Yes.
everything, but the fact that you work also hard
For myself.
for your peace,
Yes.
for your self-care is also important. I think you're a person that knows how to balance those things now.
Exactly. Exactly. I feel the same.
I'm glad. Well, thank you so much for coming in. We're done. Thank you.